Hi, I'm Stu from Hobnby Automation and welcome to the Hive. In this video we're going to be taking a look at these Meross Smart Wi-Fi LED bulbs with color changing, and it's a 2-pack. As always, we're going to take a look at the outside of the box. We're going to get them out of the box and we'll set them up with the native app. Now in a future video we'll be taking a look at getting these Meross light bulbs and possibly our other Meross gadgets into Home Assistant. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified when I release new videos each week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and do want to support the channel, there's some affiliate links to smart home gadgets that you can buy for your own smart home in the video description below. And you can support the channel at the same time without it costing you any extra, or you can support the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. Of course, those affiliate links and my Buy Me a Coffee link can all be found on my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So if you've been watching for a while, you may recall that a few months ago, I reviewed the Meross Smart Wi-Fi outdoor plug and was pleasantly surprised by some of the features, and the pricing was also quite reasonable. And you may have also seen last week when I reviewed the Smart Wi-Fi garage door opener from Meross as well. Shortly after I released the outdoor plug video, a representative from Meross reached out to me and asked whether I'd like to collaborate on some videos. And based on the experience that I'd had with the Smart Outdoor plug, of course I said yes. They asked me which products I'd like to take a look at, and they were kind enough to send me out 3 different products that I asked for at no charge, including these Meross Smart Wi-Fi LED bulbs with color changing. Now these are normally $27.99 for a 2-pack from Meross's Amazon store, which is a pretty good price for even a single smart bulb. But for a 2-pack, I think the value proposition is excellent. They do have a HomeKit enabled version for $39.99 in a 2-pack as well, and I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't make sure to get those. Of course, I'll put affiliate links in the video description below so that you can pick some of these up for yourself if you are so inclined. Now, in terms of prerequisites, these light bulbs really don't have many, just a light fitting and a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi. You'll also want to have the Meross app installed on your smartphone. Unlike other Meross gadgets, these particular ones don't have HomeKit compatibility, and the Amazon description explicitly calls them Alexa light bulbs, suggesting that they'll work with Amazon, and the markings on the box also indicate compatibility with Google and Samsung SmartThings. It's also worth mentioning here that like any smart bulb, these are not dimmable with a regular dimmer switch. You are going to need to use the app for any kind of dimming. This really shouldn't come as much of a surprise though. If you're going to be installing these bulbs in a socket where a dimmer switch exists, you'll want to make sure it's set all the way to full, and you might want to explore ways to keep it that way. Speaking of markings around the outside of the box, let's take a look at some of those now. So on the front, Smart Wi-Fi LED bulb with color changing, MSL 120, 2-pack. They work with Alexa, Google, SmartThings, energy efficiency ratings, 9 kilowatts per 1,000 hours, remote access, voice control, smart schedule, smart scene, 60 watt equivalent, and color temperature. On this side, lighting fact, 810 lumens, a light appearance between 2700 and 6500K, 9 watt, 810 lumen brightness, estimated energy cost $1.08 per year. Again, serving suggestion in a lamp there. Technical specifications: B22 LED bulb, 200 to 240 volts at 50 to 60 Hertz. Input 60 millimeters by 115 millimeters or 2.4 by 4.5 inches. Wireless standard 802.11bg and 2.4 gigahertz. Requires a smartphone running iOS 10 or later or Android 6 or later, and an existing 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network. 2-year warranty and some support details, manufacturer details, compliance information, and that is about it for the outside of the box. Okay, with the outside of the box done, let's head over to the unboxing bench and get them out of the box. The process is pretty straightforward, but I recently cut my fingernails very short, so I struggled to pull the tab on the top edge open so that I could then get the top flap out of the box. As soon as I managed to do that though, we've got the 2 bulbs inside the box. There's also a quick start guide and some warranty information inside the box as well. The build quality feels okay, but they are a little bit plasticky. They're about on par with any of the Mirabella Genio, Brilliant Lighting, or Arlic Grid Connect, or even Wiz light bulbs that I've tested in the past. Something I was a little bit concerned about was this gunk on the fitting end of the bulbs. It almost looks like hardened solder flux left over from the manufacturing process. I can't tell exactly what it is though, so I can't be sure that it's not conductive. So I'm going to try to clean that off before I test out the light bulb. So being light bulbs, there's really not much to see here, so it's time we get them set up. Before we do that though, the Train and Hobby Show is back for 2024, running this year on the 16th and 17th of March at Sandown Racecourse and Entertainment Centre. There's going to be makers, arts and crafts, model railways, radio control models, ham radio and electronics, computing and home automation, and for the very first time this year, we're also including trading cards and pop culture at the Train and Hobby Show. I'll be at the Train and Hobby Show again for 2024, showcasing smart home gadgets and home automation using Home Assistant. Tickets are already available and it's sure to be a great family day out. We are still looking for exhibitors and sponsors for the Train and Hobby Show for 2024. So if you want to come along and showcase your hobby, promote your hobby-based store, or you just want to showcase your brand to the thousands of families that we're expecting through the gates this year, be sure to get in touch or purchase your tickets via the website trainandhobbyShow.com.au. That's trainandhobbyShow.com.au. Now back to the Meross light bulbs. Now for the setup, I've got the Hive apartments here, and we're going to be focusing on these 2 apartments where I've installed the Meross Smart Wi-Fi LED bulbs. We'll apply power to the apartments and we'll get a bit of a light show while the bulbs boot up. And now I'll open up the Meross app. I've just been playing with the garage door opener, so I'll back out to the home screen and tap the plus button in the top right hand corner and then select light bulb, and then the MSL 120 option. The app walks us through changing the bulb and suggests that if we've got the Apple Home badge on the package, that we can just use the Apple Home app to pair the light bulbs instead. When we follow the instructions in the app though and select the non-HomeKit version, we are prompted to connect to the Wi-Fi network that's created by the light bulb and then return to the app. When it connects, we get prompted to give the bulb a name. I just named the first one Meross 1. You can then choose an icon either from your photo album or just leave it as is. Now I did notice that it didn't find my 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi network in the list of discovered networks here. And I have a feeling that that's because the Wi-Fi signal in this corner of the house isn't very good on the 2.4 gig network, but it did accept the credentials when I manually entered them into the fields. It took a minute to connect to the Wi-Fi and then cycled through red, green and blue and then warm white, and then back to the cool white that we started with. I then did the same thing for the second bulb, calling this one Meross 2, and the pairing process for both was identical and went pretty smoothly, except for the same thing with the second one where it didn't see the HiveMind IoT network when it scanned for the networks. The other thing of note here is that after setting each bulb up, they appeared offline, but by pulling down and refreshing the home page, they both appeared online okay. With both LEDs paired up now, we can explore the app and the settings. The controls are very basic, with a color wheel for the color or white balance, a slider for the brightness, and a button for the power. Now initially they seem to be nice and responsive, but after a few minutes one of them seemed to stop responding. But that could be related to my Wi-Fi issues in this corner of the house, so your mileage may vary. I noticed that the feedback between dragging the color wheel around was live without requiring me to lift off the wheel for the color to then update on the globe, and the same with the brightness slider. I do find that to be quite jarring if the controls only respond when you lift your finger off, and it ends up making it really hard to get exactly the setting that you want. You have to adjust it 75 times to get it just right, whereas In this case, you are getting live feedback and you can get it just right before you lift off. The other thing I noticed is that when you power the globes off, there's about a half-second fade out, but when you power the bulbs on, it goes to full power immediately, which is a little bit jarring, but it's not unlike a regular light bulb experience, so I'm not too mad at it. If we go exploring the settings using the hamburger menu in the top right hand corner, as always, there's an opportunity to change the name of the device. We can view the user manual, which presumably is the same as the one inside the box as well. There's some device time settings for the time zone, the current date and the time, and the latitude and longitude of the location, which should provide accurate sunrise and sunset calculation. There's no settings in here for HomeKit, so these bulbs definitely don't support HomeKit. What we do have in here though is some device info showing our Wi-Fi signal strength is only 44%. Our model number, firmware version, hardware version, and the hardware MAC address of the device in case we're going to reserve an IP for it a bit later on. And then there's the removed device link. And that's about it for the Meross native app. So like with the outdoor smart plug we explored previously, we may be able to get these Meross smart bulbs into Home Assistant using some custom components. I've got a bunch of Meross gear to explore, so we're going to save all of that for a future video and see if we can get them all done at the same time. So that is the Meross Smart LED bulb with color changing, the MSL 120 model at $27.99 for a 2-pack. The pricing is pretty hard to beat. RGB and adjustable cool to warm white as well. The color output's pretty nice, and at this price point I think they are actually unbeatable. Will say I was slightly concerned about the potential of that residue on the end caps to be a little bit conductive, but I'm sure there's at least a cursory test of the unit before it leaves the factory, so that it shouldn't be that big of a concern. I'm just being a bit picky. The only other real downside, as far as I can tell, is that unlike the other Meross gear I've tested so far, these bulbs don't have the HomeKit compatibility built in, and the HomeKit enabled version is $39.99 in a 2-pack. I will be putting an affiliate link in the video description to the HomeKit enabled version as well, if you're interested in picking some of those up. Personally, I'd certainly be willing to pay the little bit extra to get the HomeKit functionality. As much as I am a Home Assistant person, being able to just use the HomeKit native integration, it makes it a whole lot easier for us to get these devices integrated and without too much stuffing around. And it's also really great for users who don't have a Home Assistant setup, like my parents-in-law. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below about the Meross Smart Wi-Fi LED bulbs with color changing. And don't forget to support Meross and the channel by using the affiliate link in the video description if you want to pick up some of these light bulbs. That's all we have for this video, and I do hope that it helped you in your smart home journey. Be sure to drop a comment down below with a home automation idea you'd like to see me cover in a future video. And don't forget to follow Hive Automation on Instagram and Facebook. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, now's a great time to think about changing that. While you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification whenever I release new videos, which is normally every week. And lastly, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to help to support the channel, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Any contribution you make through Buy Me a Coffee does get put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Don't forget to check out my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Stu from Hive Mind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.